Welcome back to Scott Swing Sports Day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm back with my final record predictions for the year. College football starts next week, so I'll be starting off with my college football predictions next week. Let's get into my record predictions for the Steelers and the Chargers to finish off my record predictions for my buddies Terry Jewell and Kyle Hymas. So let's get into those right now. First off, we'll start with the Steelers. First game of the season on the road at the Bengals. I have that game as a loss. I think the Bengals are a much better team than the Steelers are right now. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to go with the Bengals at home to get it done against the Steelers. Next up, at home at Heinz Field against the New England Patriots. I have this game as a win. I have these two teams are pretty even, so I'll take the home team as usual. I'll take the Steelers at home over the Patriots. Next up, on the road at the Cleveland Browns. No Deshaun Watson. It's a Thursday night game. I'm going to take the Steelers to get it done here. I think the Steelers will do just enough this week to get it done. On a short week on Thursday night, I think they'll do just enough to get it done on the road against the Browns. Next up, they host the New York Jets. I have that game as a win also. So it's a good start for Mike Tomlin this year. I have them 3-1 with a win over the Jets here in week 4. Here's where your schedule gets tough. Next game on the road at Buffalo. Definitely a loss. I have the Buffalo Bills as probably the favorites to win the Super Bowl this year. I know you guys went into Buffalo last year and got a win in week 1 last year, but that's not happening this year. Give me the Bills to get it done at home over the Steelers. Next up, week 6, you host Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. I'm going to take the Bucs to squeak out a win here. I said it in my Buccaneers record prediction. I think this game could go either way because our offensive line's not going to be great. So I'm going to take the Bucs to find a way to get out of here with a win. It's going to be low scoring, but I'm going to take the Bucs to find a way to win this game on the road against the Steelers. Next up, on the road at the Miami Dolphins. Sunday Night Football. I have this game as a loss. I think the Dolphins are a better team right now. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to get it done on the road at home over the Steelers. Next up, on the road at the Philadelphia Eagles. I have this game as a loss as well. If the Eagles are one of the favorites to win the NFC East this year, I definitely agree with that. I'm going to take the Eagles to get it done over the Steelers. Next up, at home against the New Orleans Saints. I have this game as a win. I think Jameis is going to be fine this year, but I don't think he can get a win on the road in Pittsburgh over the Steelers. Next up, at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. Could be a win, but I don't think so. I'm going to take the Bengals on the road. The Bengals are supposed to be one of the best teams in the AFC this year after going to the Super Bowl last year, so I'll take the Bengals to get it done on the road over the Steelers. Next up, on the road at the Indianapolis Colts. Side, this game is a loss as well. The Colts are a better team than the Steelers are right now. I just think that Matt Ryan's going to have a very good year with a new team in Indy. Jonathan Taylor's one of the best running backs in the NFL, and they have a very good defense, so I'll take the Colts at home over the Steelers. Next up, you guys go on the road to face the Atlanta Falcons. I have this game as a win. The Falcons are going to be one of the worst teams in the NFC this year, so I'm going to take the Steelers at home on the road in Atlanta against the Falcons. Next up, at home against the Baltimore Ravens. I have this game as a loss. I think the Ravens are going to be a bounce-back team this year. They had a lot of injuries last year. They seem to be much healthier this year, so I'm going to take the Ravens on the road to get it done against the Steelers. Next up, on the road at Carolina, I have this game as a win. I think the Steelers are going to get a win here on the road at Carolina to get another win this season. Next up, at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. I have this game as a loss. I think Derek Carr and the Raiders are going to need to win this game on Christmas Eve. I think they're going to need to win this game to stay alive in the AFC West and potentially the wild card. So I'm going to take the Raiders on the road to get it done against the Steelers. Next up, on the road at the Baltimore Ravens. I have this game as a loss as well. I think the Ravens are a much better team, like I said. So I'm going to go with the Ravens to get it done here on the road against the at home against the Steelers. Next up, the final game of the season on the road at home against the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to go with the Browns here. I think Baker Mayfield's back. Deshaun Watson's back, so should be no problem here.
Boo.
At home, final game of the season. Neither one of you is going to the playoffs this year for what I'm thinking here, so I'm going to go with the home Browns to get it done on the road at home at Paul Brown Stadium against the Steelers. So I think the Steelers' record is going to be 6-11 this year. I don't think it's going to be a good year for the Steelers. I think they'll win 6 games, and I think Mike Tomlin might be fired after this year, but I don't think so. A lot of Steelers fans might want Mike Tomlin fired after one losing season, but I don't think so. I think they'll find a way to keep Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh next year. Now into the Charger predictions for my buddy Kyle Hymas, who a lot of people are missing here in Florida. Chelsea Powers was just asking about you last week at practice, so let's get into the Charger predictions. First game at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. After that horrendous performance by Brandon Staley last year in Week 18, that should have gotten the Chargers into the playoffs if they didn't call that timeout against the Raiders. I'm going to take the Chargers at home to get it done against the Raiders here in LA to start the season off with a win. Next up, on the road in Arrowhead against the Kansas City Chiefs. I have this game as a loss. I think the Chiefs I think the Chargers are the better team, but I think at Arrowhead on a Thursday night, I think it's going to be too tough of a win to get this year. I'm going to take the Chiefs at home over the Chargers. Next up, at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Should be no problem here. I'll take the Chargers at home over the Jags. Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne will make the Jaguars better this year, but they're not beating one of the best teams in the AFC this year. I'll take the Chargers at home over the Jags. Next up, on the road at the Houston Texans. Give me the Chargers to get a win here on the road. I think the Chargers are a much better team than the Texans. So I think that's a 3-1 start for the LA Chargers. Next up, on the road at the Cleveland Browns. Deshaun Watson's out for this game. I will take the Chargers to get a win here on the road at the Browns. I think if Deshaun Watson was playing, I might have thought about taking the Browns, but because he's not playing, I'm going to take the Chargers at home on the road in Cleveland against the Browns. Next up, at home against the Denver Broncos. Tough game. I'm going to take the Chargers, though, at home. Again, the AFC West, all these teams are just going to beat up on each other this year. I'm going to take the Chargers at home to get it done against the Broncos. Next up, on the road at home against the Seattle Seahawks. I will take the Chargers at home over the Seahawks. I think the Chargers are a very good team this year. Seattle's going to be one of the worst teams in football this year. I'm going to take the Chargers at home to get it done against the Seahawks. Next up, on the road at Atlanta. I'm going to go with the Chargers on the road at Atlanta. I think the Chargers are a very good team, and the Falcons have Marcus Mariota starting quarterback this year, so I'm going to go with the Chargers to get it done here at home over the Falcons. Next up, on the road at San Francisco, Sunday night game. I'm actually going to take the Niners in this game. I think Trey Lance is going to be very good this year. So I'm going to take the Niners at home over the Chargers. Next up, at home against the Kansas City Chiefs. I have this game as a win. They beat you at Arrowhead. I don't think they beat you guys here. I'll take the Chargers at home over the Chiefs. Next up, on the road at Arizona. Kyler Murray this is where Kyler Murray and the Cardinals usually start losing games. I'll take the Chargers to get it done on the road at Arizona against the Cardinals. Next up, on the road at Las Vegas. I have this game as a loss. I think the Raiders and Derek Carr know they got to win this game. On the road in Vegas, I think the Raiders find a way to win this game. Next up, at home against the Miami Dolphins. I have this game as a win. I think Tua is going to be good this year, but just not enough to beat the Chargers this year. Next up, at home against the Tennessee Titans. I have this game as a win. I think the Titans are going to be decent this year, but the offensive line is not looking great, and I think Ryan Tannehill is still not one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL this year, so I'll take the Chargers at home over the Titans. Next up on the road at Indy, I have this game as a loss. I have this game as a win, actually. I think the Chargers will find a way to get a win at Indy against the Colts. Next up, at home against the Los Angeles Rams. I have this game as a loss. They are the defending Super Bowl champions for a reason, and I think they're going to need this win more than you guys do at this point in the season. So I will take the Rams to get it done. In a virtual home game for both teams here at SoFi Stadium, I'll take the Rams to get it done on New Year's Day against the Chargers. Next up on the road at Denver, you guys don't need to win this game. In my opinion, you guys already have the division locked up. So I'm going to go with the Denver Broncos to get the win here on the road at Denver. I think the Broncos are going to be very good this year with Russell Wilson. So I'm going to go with the Broncos here. So I think that's 4 losses. So I think you guys will go 13-4 this year. My numbers might be a little off. You guys might have 13-4 for the Denver Broncos for the LA Chargers this year. The same record as my Bucks this year. So I'm gonna go 13-4 for the Chargers, and finish off the season with the AFC West title. I'm sure that'll make my buddy Kyle Hines very happy. And that'll do it for this episode of Scott's Weekly Sports Today, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be back next week with my Week 1 college football predictions. College football starts next week, so I'll be back with my Week 1 college football predictions next week. I'm pretty sure that'll be next Wednesday when I post again. I'll start posting more on Wednesdays now that the NFL and the college football are back. So I'll see you guys right back here next week on Scott's Weekly Sports. See you later, guys.